Thank you so much. It's been my honor and privilege to work on this project. From the beginning, it has had a life of its own. It's something that's wanted to be born, and it's been a collaborative endeavor that's been truly an honor. Okay, so this is a project that had multiple goals, and as Paul mentioned, it was funded through the Maui District Health Office, and it was, I think, awarded to us based on some good work we did the previous year on a social media campaign that we called Ohana Talk Story, TOK. And so this really extended that work to educate families about the protective factors, to reduce the stigma of seeking help, as Michelle mentioned, and also to share information about Hoʻoikaika Partnership and all of the different agencies that take part and the services that they offer to help encourage families to take advantage of those resources. Really important is that we wanted to reach people in more rural areas, especially Hana, Molokai, and Lanai, and then also families who don't rely on the internet to get their information, maybe children that learn differently, and families that were especially vulnerable. And then because everybody has their full-time jobs, and this is like our collaboration is something that we do as part of that, we wanted to build on our existing work to make sure that what we were doing also benefited the work we were already doing, if that makes sense. So the concept we had was the book is central, became the central feature of this public education campaign, but it wasn't the only part. We also wanted to create lots of different products that would educate about the protective factors and have a consistent message and consistent branding. A lot of our Hoʻoikaika materials have been created many years before our website and brochures, and they really needed a refresh. And so we wanted to make sure that we also had products that everybody could use and that they were affordable and they'd last over time. We especially wanted to focus on families who had children with children 0 to 7, because data tells us that that is the age group that is most at risk for child maltreatment. And then we landed on doing a spiral bound book. We were working with early literacy partners, and we know that reading is in itself a way to build protective factors. It's a way that caregivers and children can strengthen their bonds, and then children can learn early language skills at the same time. So the components of this campaign had this book, which you're going to hear more about, and you're going to hear the story in a moment. We had bookmarks, stickers, posters, brochures. In addition, we wanted to make sure that providers knew how to use these books and these materials with the families they serve. So we provide some training, and engagement was really at the heart. We built on some of the existing efforts, as I mentioned, and one of those is Talking is Teaching, Talk, Read, Sing, which is a national campaign that Kalo for Keiki implemented here on Maui. And it does, again, dual goals, building protective factors and language skills. We also partnered with Aloha at Home, which is an initiative of the Early Childhood Action Strategy, or ECAS. Many of you may be aware of that. And Aloha at Home has done a beautiful job mapping the protective factors to Aloha values and bringing the message that of spreading aloha in the place that it matters the most, which is the home. So we wanted to help spread that message as well. Now, we talk a lot about the protective factors. Hoʻoikaika Partnership has had this at the center of our efforts since the very beginning. And they really are a set of characteristics that help families be healthy and safe. And they also reduce the risk of child maltreatment. The challenge is that they can sound really conceptual and academic. Nurturing and attachment, for example, like what does that really mean when you're talking with a family? So our very first step was to create family-friendly language that people could connect with and that we could really use to better teach the protective factors. So maybe this will help you remember them. Also, every year at the beginning of the conference, we ask people at the beginning and at the end, do you know the protective factors? And so here they are. Malama Ohana for nurturing and attachment, so caring for the family. Parenting can be hard, but can, which is knowledge of parenting and child development. Sorry, I have a little typo there. Show keiki aloha, which is social and emotional competence in children and really building those skills for children interacting with each other and other people. How you stay, social connections. First, make yourself pono, which is really about parental resilience. And then, of course, no shame. It's okay to reach out, concrete support in times of need. So we've carried this through all of our products. Our next step was to create a whole set of bookmarks, and I really have to give a big shout out to Heidi Allencaster and Tracy Ribello put a lot of time and effort into creating these and working on the language, and these are now available and downloadable along with our refreshed brochures from the Hoʻoikaika website. We had 2 brochures that were developed many years ago, Who's in Your Canoe, which is for parents, that really goes through all of the protective factors. And then How You Stay, which is aimed at youth and helping youth build skills for reaching out for help and disclosing. Again, the message was solid, but they kind of needed a refresh and to be updated for modern times. And really, we got a lot of help from Lisa Chow, who helped with the design and redesign of these things. So some of you may be wondering, well, this is the digital age. Why are you doing a spiral bound book? Well, we already talked about how the protective factors are conceptual, but a story helps bring concepts alive. And we knew from the work of the Early Literacy Project that families were asking for more stories that had Hawaiian language and Hawaiian context. And our team members really felt strongly that families needed to see themselves reflected in the story. So that's why we kind of landed there. And storytelling, of course, this is how humans have learned since we started. It's in every culture, and it's particularly strong in Hawaiian culture. So a book could also help bridge the digital divide. And then again, a single strategy that would help us meet multiple goals. That's a powerful strategy. But none of us were children book authors. None of us knew the first thing about writing a book, publishing a book, laying out a book. So we engaged a facilitator who also had skills in publishing, nonprofit management, and working with youth, Cynthia DeRosier from the Good Juju Company based on Oahu. And she's also a graphic facilitator. And she and I worked together to design an agenda for our team. And everyone came together and really worked on the vision for the book and the storyline. And there was a lot of doubt at first. Are we going to be able to do that in one day? And we did. We walked away from this day with a solid storyline. And then there were a lot of challenges. We had to pivot a lot of times, but we got there. And the result is really amazing. So I just want to take a moment to really call out and acknowledge all of our team members, most of whom are here today, but not everyone. And first and foremost, thank you so much to Solomon Enos, who's our beautiful artist and illustrator and has just been with us every step of the way. So much patience, so much talent. Our writing team, Heidi Allencaster, the Hoʻoikaika navigator at Maui Family Support Services. Tanya sorry, Tanya. She will have her correct spelling of her name. But she's with the Boys and Girls Club of Maui, and she has been a real champion of writing this story and will be your reader today. Tracy Ribello, the Early Literacy Project Director at Maui Family Support Services, and Mia Sato Magubal, who works with Child and Family Service, and you'll be hearing more today too. also on our creation team, Brandy Akimo, which some of you may remember Brandy when she was here on Maui and worked with Hoʻoikaika as a partner for many years. She rejoined us to help us rethink our brochures, and she did a lot of research on the mythology of Maui and the legend of Maui, which helped inform our thinking. Lisa Chow, who's here today, she was our website redesigner and brochure and logo refresh, and she did all the book layout as well. Genevieve Dorego from Amua Family Services helped really do all the logistics, along with our intern Deza Santos for our creation day. And Jessica Gleason, she joined us later in the process, but she is our bookmobile librarian from Wailuku Public Library and has brought her mana'o about reading to children and what really resonates in a children's book. Ikela Kanaipua Crozier from Kamehameha Schools was our cultural advisor, and I can't say enough how much we appreciated Akela working with us. She really helped raise our awareness of the nuances of how animals behave in nature and how Kalo farming is done and usage of Hawaiian language. And we just so appreciated her participation. Lei Kealoha was a former intern with us, and she helped keep us in check with a parent perspective. And finally, Kavika Matos from Maui Family Support Services and Kane Connections was really instrumental bringing that his mana'o, his experience, and also that really important fatherhood perspective to our team. So thank you for allowing me to kind of run through everyone. I just kind of wanted everyone to have a sense of who is who. And we could not have done this without the generous funding of the Maui District Health Office. So mahalo.
How long did the process take to create this book from start to finish?
Okay, I'll kick us off. So we received the grant in May of 2022, and it took us a good couple of months before we landed on, yes, we're going to do a book, and then, yes, we're going to do it ourselves. We're not going to hire a professional to do it. So then we didn't have that creation. We talked a lot about our vision, but we really didn't have that solid until February. And then we had to, you know how grants work, everybody. We had to have all the money expended by May of 2023. So between February and the end of May, we might have gone a little over just by a few weeks. So it was at the printer, like I think mid-June. So it was fast, but not fast. And please, anyone else who has wants to add in.